Alright, you have to hold a piece of paper, bro. I'm sure that'll be great for the sound quality. Alright, can you pick up the piece of paper?
Yeah.
So should I do like a normal intro for this like I did for the other one?
Or just say...
I should probably mention it's part 2.
Yeah.
But we need to have, oh my god, can we get a whole board just for the one time this is ever going to be needed?
Yeah.
I can't believe we have props. This is like technically a cue card. The production level is going to be crazy. Okay.
Your handwriting is terrible.
Are there any men that have good handwriting?
I'm sure Chris Evans
Let me
does.
ask you this. I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Chris Evans is?
That's Star-Lord?
No.
That's not Star-Lord?
No.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Wait. And action.
Okay. Alright, welcome to part 2, talking about Salus Resource Group. So there's a lot to cover, so I'm going to try to do it quick so I don't have you guys all falling asleep. I want to get into a little bit more detail about the individuals who are in this group. First, we have Dominic Rayoni. He works for Henry Schein. His focus is on medical supplies and equipment. So some people want to go the cheaper route and stuff like that. It's like, oh, I'm going to go buy my exam table on Amazon.com or something like that. And when they bring it, they're just going to leave an exam room table like right on the side of the road in front of your place. So what do you do with that? Oh, have fun with it. Dominic's team not only is, of course, going to take it up into your business, they're going to position it properly. You're going to say, oh, I'd like it to be over there. And they're going to say, well, with our vast experience, we understand that you're going to have difficulties performing the exam because of X, Y, and Z reason. Here are a few options for you. When you're making big purchases, things that are important, you want to have people who are going to take care of you in a professional way so that you don't run into all sorts of ridiculous scenarios. Bruce, he is Bruce Levine. He works for Grassi. He's been a medical CPA forever, for like about 100 years at this point. And he has opened up practices in Africa. If you have any questions about what the legality is, if you need some help with business strategy, it's not just having your taxes done. This person is just so focused in medical and understands and has just a wealth of resources and has been in the Boston area his whole time. Stefan, I think I talked about a little bit of him in the last one, but so I'm going to go past Stefan from Car Realty, but he's a fantastic contact that everybody should have. Brett Burbank, so Brett Burbank works for Professional Office Services, so he's got a whole variety of things to do. You know, I talked about him briefly in the first one for doing like patient surveys and things like that, so you can get some feedback. They have lots of all sorts of cool tech things. They can link statements into text messages. It's something like 97% of text messages are read within the first 3 minutes. Way better than just mailing something to someone's house that could just get tossed in the trash. But he can do things that can adhere to any kind of surface, you know, like signs inside your building and stuff like that. So and he's amazing at target marketing too. So he had a practice once, ophthalmology practice. And they said, you know, we want to market to these 3 cities, and he was able to do it, and he was able to save them a lot of money by just focusing it on people who were registered in those towns of having eyeglasses on their driver's license. So awesome target marketing, so you don't waste your money and you get what you need. We have Chris from Bowden Construction. Chris has worked so many large projects. I think about 30% of their business is medical, which is very high for a construction company. They do tons of ambulatory surgical centers, and I think a lot of people know about them in the market. We also have Charlie Zanazzi. Charlie has been working, he works for Harbor One, he's been in the industry forever. He has a lot of flexibility, which is really cool with Charlie, so, and he's very straightforward, so if you have something, pitch it to him. There are lots of practices that people don't want to touch, like if someone's starting off with a very large group practice, if someone's starting off with something that may be in like behavioral health, addiction medicine. I mean, Charlie runs the gamut for everything. So like it could be something even as simple as, you know, you get into a bind where you need a line of credit for 90 days or something like that. The cool thing is he's not stuck in a box with what he can work with. He can be extremely flexible as long as it makes sense. He'll get part of the project. So then we have Jessica Ellis Wilson. She's from Practical Management. So it's kind of like, it's cool because if you just need to have some help where you don't want to hire somebody permanently for a role doing like, you know, compliance or regulatory management and things like that, but you want to have somebody that can either come in periodically or at least, you know, once or twice a year, or you're starting up a new practice to really get a good, like kind of having an outsourced COO or like a practice manager that is going to need to deal with very comprehensive items. A fantastic resource to have. Nick Ferbert, he works for Bay State Financial. He's got like, if you're putting your practice together for like discriminatory benefits, if you want to have like benefits for the doctors that are going to be different than the staff, how you structure that, how you do financial planning for your practice, someone who is just completely focused again on medical, that understands what doctors need, what practices need to strive and survive, and you get a whole boatload of options claims. Nick is and he's very active, very responsive, a fantastic resource to have. Patrick Mora, he is with Hub International, Hub Global. Hub is a massive player in the insurance industry, and he's very straightforward, extremely responsive type of guy as well. He's deep into Rhode Island Medical Society, I know. He's got great ties in the area, really in New England. But like, you know, if you want to know the reason why things are happening too, instead of something like, oh, why is my malpractice going up? He'll explain to you why malpractice right now, general liability, and everything is starting to skyrocket, what the situation is, why the insurance industry is underwater, with pretty much everything other than workers' comp. Workers' comp should be going down. How do I know that? Because I know Patrick. And then we have Steve from Bevlin. Bevlin is a great IT provider, so they can help out in a myriad of ways. They can work with any EHR. They're not like Pigeonhole. They're very agnostic, so they can work with all sorts of different systems and, you know, figure out what exactly your needs are from a hardware standpoint, help you out with software decisions and what your requirements are to get in with anyone. So these are all the people that meet regularly, at least once a month. And when we have several of us working together, you know, just to give you an example, and then I'll let everybody go. A cool example is that we have, let's say for instance, you know, our company does credentialing. So let's say we're going to be doing credentialing for a client, and the client now needs to get a letter from the bank stating that, you know, here's our account number, here's our tax ID. Everything has to be perfect. If you have a comma or an apostrophe, or even just off by a space on that letter, it will get rejected. So we need to have everything perfect. So what do? Rather than going through the client, we just work with each other. So I would just call up Charlie and say, hey Charlie, give me a Harbor One bank letter that has everything worded exactly like this to what my credentialing manager is requesting. And then the practice is going to say something like, that's great, but you know, now we're required, before we can credential, we need malpractice, but we don't want to be paying malpractice for our group already. That's cool. Patrick already has you covered because he's going to create a malpractice plan. You're going to have a number and you're going to be registered with them and everything so that we can file everything, and he's going to charge you $0 until you actually start seeing patients. So a lot of people are paying crazy money for malpractice when they're not even seeing patients. And all of this now can go behind the scenes because we all know each other, we trust each other, we have a great relationship with each other. So all this is being worked, you're not being bothered, and it works in so many different ways with all of us working together. Salus Resource Group, not only is that all that we do, but we also can just provide education lessons too on things that might be great for your practice. Hit us up or hit me up directly and I can set you up with any of these individuals, and we'll see you on the next one.